Welcome to Nisus Nation. I am your host, Jason. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star rating and review. It really helps us out, and it helps us to reach more listeners.
Hey, welcome back to Nisus Nation. I'm your host, Jason, and today I have the honor of having some very special guests. And I have Harry Bryan here with me. Harry, if you want to introduce our guest, please.
Hey, thank you, Jason. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we have a special guest today, very special guest, coming from Decatur, Alabama. Stephen Gates and Andrew Davitt from Cook's Pest Control. And Stephen is the Vice President of Technical Services for Cook's. And Andrew oversees the Pest Control Services for Cook's. And I'm just glad they're in the building. This is their first time visiting us here at Nisus. It's been a long time coming, and we're just gonna have a good time today.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey guys, could you please just tell us a little bit about what you do for Cook's?
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you guys having us too. I mean, it's special to get that invitation. So thank you for letting us come see the place. So yeah, we work in the home office of Cook's Pest Control there in Decatur, Alabama. That's where it all started. And so I'm an entomologist myself, and so is Andrew. But I'm an Auburn entomologist, and he just happens to be a Texas A&M entomologist.
Oh my gosh!
Keep it in the SEC.
That's true.
Absolutely, yeah.
We do, don't we?
Yeah, we're Tennessee folks here, so
That's right.
Well, we have a Tennessee entomologist too.
That's great.
So there you go.
So you got all of them now.
Yeah,
so.
we've got all of them. That's exactly. No, we have Florida, we have Tennessee, Auburn, of course, Texas A&M, Mississippi State.
We had Mississippi State, yeah.
Just don't have a Georgia. We got to watch the dogs.
Yeah, got to watch those dogs. Yeah,
but no, yeah. So we're the support. We're support for our districts. We have 39 districts and 3 branches. So we help support those guys and any and everything that they need. So it really is a partnership with them, and then Andrew does a lot to help them, because those guys have to worry every day about getting the work done, getting people to work, and a lot of times the pest control part is what we focus strictly on, or termite. And that's where we can go help those guys if they run into a snag or need some help because you're not from the same office,
Yeah.
So. My name is Andrew. I'm an entomologist from Texas A&M. I actually moved out from Austin to work at Cook's. I know Texas A&M is in College Station, but I grew up in Austin and saw the light, so I went to Texas A&M. So yeah, I'm the Pest Services Manager. So I'm over not only how we kill the bugs, but also the processes that we do to kill those bugs. So that goes from everything from managing the departments and how those departments are run to actually the products and techniques that we use out in the field.
What's interesting, Jason, about Cook's Pest Control, where their corporate office is in Decatur, Alabama, one of the most famous barbecue restaurants on the planet.
Really?
Is next door.
Really?
Yeah.
Big Bob Gibson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard
it is an iconic
100 years this year. By the way, yeah, they're selling memorabilia for it. So it's a 100-year anniversary.
It is destination. So Decatur, Alabama. If you ever go to Decatur, Alabama, you have to.
Home of the first wave pool.
Really?
There you go. And Big Bob Gibson.
And Big Bob Gibson's, yeah.
And you go hit a wave pool.
We don't take vendors to the wave pool, though, huh?
No.
It's iconic. It's what a great place to be. Working,
And Harry's a connoisseur of barbecue.
Yeah,
so if anybody knows Harry,
I had not ever heard of white sauce until I moved over to Alabama. From Texas, that's barbecue's a big deal. So white sauce is like barbecue sauce.
I heard, way back in the day when I tell these barbecue stories, what got me into the barbecue world was I was here at Nisus, and me and a colleague, many, many years ago, I don't know, 20-something years ago, we took on a whim. We were going to go enter the barbecue competition in Huntsville, Alabama. It was the Whistle Stop Festival.
Oh, okay.
Probably familiar with that. And we were in the backyard division. We weren't in the pro division. All right, we were in the backyard division, which means you only cook chicken and ribs. All right. Well, we did so well in that backyard division that we won one of the categories, and we thought, oh, we've arrived now. We can cook.
Yeah.
So the very next contest we entered, we decided we're just going to enter in the pro division because we won the backyard division in Alabama. Then we go to another state in Georgia to cook a pro division, and we came in dead last. And that's when we realized maybe we probably bit off more than we could chew. So I'm familiar with the white sauce thing. It's just different. Okay?
It's a love-hate thing. Either you love it or you don't.
It doesn't taste right on a pulled pork, but it tastes really good. It tastes really good on chicken.
Really
Chicken
good on
is
chicken.
So
I've never heard of white sauce. So this
It's
is
white
new to
sauce.
me.
Yeah, see, exactly. Yeah.
We should have brought you some.
Should have brought you some. Yeah.
it really looks like they've taken mayonnaise and just liquidified it.
I'm thinking
It's
Alfredo
white
sauce.
It looks just like regular barbecue sauce, except it's white.
Yeah. Lots of
So
pepper in there.
Vinegar, sugar,
vinegar, sugar,
lemon.
yeah,
pepper.
It's good.
It is
Yeah.
good.
I mean, it's
A little bite
just
to it.
different. It's an
Yeah.
Alabama thing. It's
It
an
is.
Alabama thing.
Yeah.
So we can have a whole conversation about that. But
You know, one of the things we do for our offices when they, break a record or have a big celebration or whatever, we have this huge trailer smoker that we pull behind.
I've seen pictures of that.
Have you?
Yeah.
That thing's awesome. So we'll go and cook turkey and, smoked turkey with white sauce and sausage and ribs and whatever. Steaks. Yeah, we'll grill steaks on that.
You know where we got the inspiration at, don't you? Harry.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
If you need a bottle washer, just let me know. I'll come down there and do dishes just to hang out. So,
Harry and Drew Lockhart, both of them would do a lot of
yeah,
cooking.
I can see
I
that.
like Drew. Drew's good. If he's listening, hello, Drew.
Yeah.
So, Drew's a good guy. We taught barbecue
Yeah, they're barbecue
a few
people.
times over the past few years. So that's good.
You got me hungry now.
I'm sorry. Well, I know. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I got to go with Harry to do one of his barbecue cook-offs. It was, I guess, a few months after I started, and I was surprised. I was like, okay, he cooks barbecue. I didn't know he cooked barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the funny thing about that one was that was one of his first events, but it was one big event that he came to because we were cooking for 325 people at that one, and we actually did a podcast there.
Yeah.
So that was a 48-hour marathon, and
Wow.
it took me. I mean, literally, it took me 3 whole days to get all the smoke scent out of your pores.
Yeah.
And you'll be laying in bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you go, what's that smell?
Yeah.
Well, it's your nose hairs.
Yeah.
Your nose hairs got smoke in them, and you
That
can't.
truck ride back after one of those cookouts is kind of, especially if you got a truck full of people.
Yeah,
it was a little-
my colleague Lee Barrett, who's the CEO of Nisus, he cooked with me several times. He's cooked with me several times, and so one day we were cooking at a big builder event, with thousands of builders there. And we cooked literally several hundred racks of ribs for this event. So Lee was, he was cutting ribs, but he was wearing some very expensive shoes, and that's where he learned real quick. Man, you don't want to be wearing expensive shoes when you're cutting barbecue and ribs.
Yeah.
Those things got ruined in a hurry.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, but
We cook all that stuff. Chicken, Kaneka sausage, that's an Alabama thing too. It's kind of neat. But then steaks and ribs and, the number one thing that people love the most that we cook though, smoked bologna.
Yeah, we just started doing that a lot this year. Yeah. It's so easy,
That's, you know what? You are 100% correct, and it's the cheapest meat to cook as well.
Yeah.
So, and it goes, and people just absolutely love it. To put it on crackers and take cheese whiz and squirt it on a
Cheese
smoked
whiz?
one. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't like cheese
Hey,
whiz. I've seen
Philadelphia
people do it.
cheesesteaks.
I know that.
Yeah.
But on bologna, I don't know. I don't see it.
He's right though. It's wicked. There's a certain flavor and texture to it, and it's just good. I don't know if they do that in Texas. But,
I can't say that. How that started
Texas,
though.
See, that's the thing about in Texas. They consider that the barbecue capital, Texas. But then you go to Memphis.
I would say so.
And right. So then Alabama, because they got their wacky white sauce. Of course, Tennessee is Tennessee. Tennessee thinks it's the best. I think Tennessee barbecue is better. That's just me.
Wow.
He's not biased.
But anyway, that's all good. It's off. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Good is good.
Yeah. So let me say, no, I love Tennessee barbecue. I like the vinegar barbecue sauce, vinegar tomato base.
Mhm.
But let me tell you, sometimes I just love that South Carolina mustard. I know I know you guys are like, that's not barbecue.
From time to time.
From time to time, it's so good.
It's something different for sure. But I tell you, if Andrew and I found this new thing in Memphis, and it's we love it.
Yeah.
We love it. But they have, and it's in several different restaurants up there, so it's not real hard to find, but some are better than others. But barbecue spaghetti.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the newest.
I was very skeptical going into that. Barbecue
That's a
spaghetti.
Memphis thing.
But
It's
man,
very much a Memphis thing.
that is good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. We had ribs and barbecue spaghetti, and I think the barbecue spaghetti got going first.
Yeah.
It is good. I mean, that is truly a Memphis thing. And of course, Memphis ribs, they like their dry rib.
Yeah.
Ribs. I like dry rib ribs.
Yeah.
I like all barbecue. I mean, they're maybe only you can count on one hand where I've had, bad barbecue.
Yeah.
But we're all barbecue snobs.
It's funny how food pulls us all together.
Yeah.
I guess that's how we first met.
It's all good.
Barbecue.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the last meals we had, I think we were down in Middle Tennessee a couple of years ago. We went to some little barbecue place and we ate barbecue there too. So it's all good.
Yeah.
That was that cheese. They had the grilled cheese with barbecue on it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's great. That's great. So, so what are some of the things that as a technical director, what does a technical director do within a large organization?
That's a question that my son asked me. He said, "What do you do exactly?" I'm actually fortunate enough and lucky enough to work with people like Andrew. So he's the one that, we have in our organization, we have a person over pest control who is Andrew. That's commercial and residential, and then a termite manager as well. And then we have a person over the computer system in our department, because running reports and supporting the field is a big thing. You got to get your job done because we're digital, right? Everybody's digital now. So, and then of course we have Faye Golden, who's over the governmental side of things. She's in the technical department as well. So I'm fortunate enough to work with those superstars. That's what I get to do every day. But I think the biggest thing is making sure, I guess the easiest way to understand it is if you go to California and you buy a hamburger from McDonald's, you expect it to be like the one that you buy in Knoxville, Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we want for Cooks' services. Harry, don't yell at me for saying this, and it's going to kill me to say it, but Nick Saban was right. It's systems and processes. You know what I'm saying? And
he's an Auburn grad.
I know.
He's an Auburn grad.
But you respect leadership, right? Good
That's
leadership. Right. So it's about that. And that's what these guys work so hard on. Now, granted, Knoxville, Tennessee to the Panhandle of Florida is going to have different pest issues. I get that. But if you're doing the standard service, then that person moves within our service area can expect that same quality service. We may have to tweak it based on what region you're in, but it's still the standard is
consistency.
Consistency, yeah, man. And as long as you do that, we've refined it over the years to the point that if you do that, then your customers will be happy. Happy customers stay with you, right? So that's what we do, and then we get to do the fun stuff. Come do these things, or play with new chemicals, or read new labels, or get to see what goes on, get to meet new people, see the young group coming in. I used to be the young group, and I woke up one day and went, what happened?
You're just trying to get gray hairs around the edges now.
I told the lady stop cutting the grays because there's not much left.
I got you.
Yeah.
So Andrew, what about you? What are some of the things that you do internally?
Yeah. So like Steven said, I'm over pest control. So that's over, not only how we kill the bugs, but what are the processes that we use to manage the folks that kill bugs, right? So I've got like Steven said, I've got several really great people that work for me. I've got two guys that all they deal with is how the departments are run in our offices. Okay. So how they manage their technicians, the processes for check-ins, organizing the work, all that stuff. And then I get to do the fun things as well. And I got a couple more technical or field people that work for me as well, that where we're always looking at new products or new processes, testing stuff like that, supporting our districts if they have, hey, I've got this weird thing, I don't know what it is, but there's a billion of them in the third floor of a building. I just got a call about that on the way up here. There's in the third floor of a building, there's a bunch of bugs that we don't know what they are.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. So, it's a lot of support, and it's a lot of, testing and fun stuff.
So do you have a specific process in place when, not necessarily new products, but it could be, but existing products that there's certain boxes that has to be checked off?
Yes, that's a good question, Harry.
Yeah.
Yes. And what reason I say that, Andrew is very analytical minded. So, that's where, as you know, but just being in it for so many years, you get a feel for what happens and when it happens and how it happens, right? But Andrew's been able to put numbers to it, and it's helped from a data analytics standpoint. It's really helped us hone our skills and actually be faster about decisions and quicker about our trainings, like before it happens, kind of trainings. And yeah, our whole, how is it going? Andrew can, let's say, for example, this happened last year. Somebody was complaining about one of our products that we just switched to. And they said, well, this product didn't work as well as the last product did. Well, he pulled the data on it and looked at the callbacks, and yeah, the callbacks were up. And then you look at the forecast, and we had a very wet spring because the usage gallons were down for the company.
Yeah.
Usage gallons are down, calls are going to go up. It's raining, so wet spring. So once he communicated all of that, we got the usage back up, and the callbacks went back down. So,
you found correlations then, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was funny, coming over here from Texas. Like Steven said, he's been doing this for 20 plus years. April's the time this pest shows up, and October's the time this pest shows up. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, I just know that I've been doing this for so long. So it helps me to have the data behind it too, to show when our callbacks start going up.
Can you give me an example of analytics, like a specific data point that you would look at? Is it, emission, weather, and the correlation of usage of gallons? Is there another type of analytics that you pay attention to, or is that the secret to the cut sauce? I don't know. So.
No, it's your callbacks. Probably.
Yeah, it's callbacks, cancellations. Okay. Yeah, that's really the big one. And then because
do they pay for the service?
Yeah.
Sure.
With that specific issue, that everything was the same about that product except the callbacks were going up, so it had to be something. So really,
do you put that data with that particular product? Like this particular product generates X amount callback percentages, and this,
Yeah, so we can actually break it down in our system now to look at how many of these services use this specific product, and versus how many total services did we have. So you can find the services that didn't have that specific product, right? And you can look at that number and see, hey, our callbacks are going up, and there's a lot less services where we're using this product.
Or base program, like he can see how many did the actual program itself with all the products involved.
Yeah.
And then he also tracks duration too. So time.
That'd be another good one. Duration.
Time is, if you spend the time, your callbacks are going to be low. That's with mosquito, that's with pest control, that's with termite inspections, with anything we do. If you take your time, and we have a minimum standard what we're after with our services as well. So Andrew can see, but he also has analytics where he can find out if somebody's fudging that number. Not that anybody would, right?
Yeah.
But if they're doing that, he can also check the usage records and see things like that. So any other data points.
Yeah.
Well, I have an important question. Right? So, do you have a favorite pest control product?
A favorite pest control product?
The one that keeps the callbacks down.
I guess, I'm going to say this because we're on, these are Nisus microphones and everything like that. No, really, I think my favorite product that's come out recently is that I'm sorry. Nibor plus IGR aerosol. Just because that was a lot of our issues with small flies, is that just getting the technicians to actually mix up the foamer,
right,
open the drains, get the foamer in the drain, scrub it like they're like we lay it out in our process. Just bringing that can of aerosol, man, that's so much easier. And just
we use a lot of it.
And we use a lot of it.
Do you remember, Stephen, us coming to you way early before we even...
35 years.
I mean, yeah.
Well, maybe not quite that long. It felt like that long.
Many years ago.
we had this idea for
That's
the
the
product.
EPA for you, right?
Yeah, when we had the idea for the product, it was in the, conceptual stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we had, myself and Lee Barrett, had maybe 3 or 4 cans of it, and went to Steve and said, "Hey, maybe try this out, see what you think." And we got a phone call from you a few days later, say, "Hey, this is pretty good," But now we just had to go through the process of packaging and design and all that sort of stuff, and just get it to the marketplace. And it has been a great product, simply for the very reasons that you shared.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes foaming so much easier.
It just takes that barrier down, just
right.
I've got this can already with me in my belt. So
right. There's no calibration.
Yeah.
There's no mixing issues. You don't have to worry about the technician, maybe not putting in the right amount of active ingredient or right amount of foaming agent into it or whatever. It's there and ready to go. So,
that's right. The ready to use products do cost more, Harry, but in the long run, your callback is going to cost you more because that technician didn't take the steps to go through to mix that product in a foamer like they should and apply it. So, so either it's pay me now or pay me later. You know what I mean? Right. And that's where it really, because we've gone through more of that product than we ever did of when they were mixing it on their own. So we know they're using it.
Well, we can keep making more. Just keep using it.
Right. And really, we tested that product originally years ago. There was a restaurant here in Knoxville that had a real bad fruit fly problem. That's where we originally tested it. And the guys were like, "You have got to get me more of this stuff." And I'm like, "It's the same thing that you're mixing in your foamer." They're like, "But we can't get the guy to do it on a regular basis." And then they wouldn't clean the foamer out, and then it'd get all clogged. How that all goes.
You bring up a good point. Can't get the guy to do it on a regular basis because of those steps, other things associated with making it and putting in the foam. Because as you said, you have to clean everything out. Got to clean the equipment. You got to mince it. You got to do all that stuff, and that becomes very tedious and very labor intensive. So, I mean, it's so much easier just to take a can and put a straw on and be done with it.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Yep. And, the whole aerosol thing, it helps. The ready to use stuff, it really does. So that's been a fantastic product, and we're glad to have that because really, I'd say commercially, that's probably one of our nemesis is the fruit fly, and really the dark-eyed fruit fly is the big one we deal with the most now.
Yeah, they're very cryptic. They're hard to find the source on those things.
They are. But if you with that product, you can treat in many places. I mean, there's of course read the label, right? You always have to read the label before doing anything, but it's not limited that much.
And a bit plus to that is you can actually use that product while the facility is in operation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay? So that means you don't have to wait till they close at 11 o'clock or do night stops.
That's right.
You could actually do it when it's convenient for the technician and their customer.
That's right.
So,
right.
It's good.
So it's been a home run.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's great.
Yeah. That's one of the products. Whenever I first came on, I had a fruit fly problem in my house, and they were like, "You need to get some Nibor DIGR," and it was magic.
Yeah. We have a dry sink in the back. It's it's just a little sink area, and we don't use it that often. So every now and then you'll get little fungus gnats coming out of it, and time to treat. So we go and treat it, and good to go. So probably should turn the water on every now and then. That might help.
Just wash our hands every now and then.
Wash your hands. You are from Texas, I remember. You wash your hands.
Do y'all travel to the branches much?
Oh, yeah.
You go. You traveling somewhere every week for the most part. Both of you together, or you separate?
No, separate.
Okay,
separate. Yeah.
Okay.
Got 39 districts and 3 branches. So.
Yeah. It's a lot of ground to cover. So we our team, the whole technical department, pretty much is scattered. You
How
know?
many is in the technical department?
Oh, good question.
13.
Yeah. Okay, you knew that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we have 13, but a couple of them are, we usually try to keep at least 2 people that are manager trainees that we find from the field, and we give them opportunities. And then that way they can get out of their district where there's already good management. So the upward growth may not be there for them there, but they get to see other places while they help us do quality assurance work and helping our technicians. Because it's really about a relationship. It's not the home office is coming to check on you. Our deal is it's not the saying that we're with the government, we're here to help. That's not it. We're really truly, because we have regions and areas, and they build these relationships to where it's almost like they're one and the same. So they call on them all the time for help. And we, I guess we just hired a new entomologist recently.
Yeah.
It'd make you happy, Harry. She's a Tennessee grad.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
Julia.
great.
Julia. Yep.
That's Julia Willingham. She started working with us.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yes. So she's our Tennessee
She's a fabulous girl. That's
region.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Working with us now. So she's in Chattanooga, but she'll be covering our Tennessee region.
How
So
about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And we
Julia
have-
well.
we have that throughout as well. So we have another entomologist that works South Alabama, Florida Panhandle. So that's their guy, you
Yeah.
know, who can be there within a couple hours at the most. And then we have one, you know, in Alabama that does the exact same thing. One of our entomologists just got promoted. She's the training director now,
Yep.
Savannah. So, you know, but it's about relationships, you know, and building that. And because it says cooks on my shirt, just like it does theirs and out in the field. So,
It seems to me that y'all have a lot of longevity within the company itself. People want to stay there. You got a
Yeah.
great culture where people just want to continue to grow, get better every day. They like where they're working. They like the people they work with.
Yeah.
So-
I'd like to think so. You know, I'm a pretty rare outside hire at the home office. A lot of our folks started as technicians and have moved their way up. I think every one of our regional vice presidents started as a technician. You know,
and a couple of them came through the technical department.
yeah, which that manager trainee program that Steven talked about has been really successful for us. And those guys get, you know, we talk about it being a 2-year program or so, but it's been a while since anyone lasted that long before they got snagged up by.
So a manager training program, is that something where new hires they want to work for Coots? Do they come on into manager training because they want to be a manager, or is a manager training program someone that just brings in internally and you bring them into that manager training role?
Yes, you're internal. Yeah, it's internal. It could be a technician, a salesperson, a supervisor. Sometimes we do department managers, but most of those guys are already kind of where they need to be. And then, you know, the advancement path for them is a little bit easier. So we give the group that has a harder time getting seen, see and be seen kind of thing. So Andrew's right. We 2 years, it's either 2 years you're going to turn out and do well, or, hey, you know, you may not, but I mean, they're lasting about 6 months now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
Well, because as with any company, its growth is dependent upon people, right? And so it's the same with us. I mean, we want to grow, so we're able to put these people in position. And honestly, we've been through a little bit of a roller coaster of retirement, just because, like you said, people stay with us, but that creates snowball effects throughout the districts. They're moving. We promote from within so much that we have to replace those positions, and so. These guys, we just placed 2 of them actually just recently, and super excited for those guys. So
That's good.
yeah, and the regionals get to see them.
Yeah, they're you know, put up on the stage or, you know, in the spotlight a little more, and they do a great job. And a manager is going to say, "Hey, I've got an opening. I want that guy." You know, that's how it works.
Yeah. And speaking of longevity, I had the opportunity to do a podcast with Faye Golden.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Back, I think it's either January or February, and she she's awesome.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, and
Did she tell you how she got the cooks?
She did, but I talked to so many people, I can't remember all the stories. But yeah,
she's great. I've worked with Faye ever since I started with cooks, and she was over the continuing education part of it, right, with the state of Alabama. So she was the Department of Ag. She regulated our industry.
That's right. Yeah,
and I'll never forget one day I needed a ride back from Mobile. We just got done doing a speaking tour in the whole state, and Faye came to Mobile, and the guy that, rest his soul, but Butch Cawthon actually was the one I rode with, and he was going to stay with his daughter down there. So I rode back with Faye, and I said, back to Montgomery. And I begged her. I was like, please come to work for Cooks. Please come to work for Cooks. And then I'd say 5, 6, 7 years later, we posted that position, and Faye called and says, hey, I saw that position. And I was like, great. And so anyway, we met her at a local restaurant, and anyway, hired her from there, and it's been fantastic. She's our national liaison, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So she always said, you hired me to do all that, so you don't have to do it. I said, Faye, you're perfect at it. You know what they want. I said, you've been on both sides of the aisle here as far as the regulator and the operator.
Mm-hmm,
so.
Yeah, she's definitely an icon in our industry. Represents the Cooks brand.
Yes, sir.
Outstandingly well.
Yeah.
So
she's been with Cooks almost 15 years, 13, 15.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right in that neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but she's 25, 26. So
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, so I like to ask these questions, because, our industry, there's always, a story or something like a personal interest story out there that, somebody may have from their past or when they started. And I always just like to ask that question. Is there anything that sticks out to you? Like we're, a pest control operator or someone in your business has gone above and beyond to like help people in the industry, or help people, like say, they had a really bad infestation and this operator just went in and like helped these people. I don't know. Is there something like that stands out to your mind?
I was going to tell them the story of Rico.
Yeah.
Just recently. So Rico is a supervisor in our Birmingham office, one of our Birmingham offices. And I don't know how long ago this happened.
About 2 years ago.
2 years ago. He was driving in his service truck down the road, and he sees a truck in front of him that's spilling a bunch of like metal canisters, I think gas cylinders or something like that, spilling out the side of the road. And this lady pulls over and tries to get out and collect all these canisters in traffic. So he actually stops his truck and helps her out, gets all the canisters into her truck, and just says, "Hey, you sit in the truck because I don't want you out here because of the traffic. I'll handle this. You sit down in your truck." And when she went to ask him, what his name was, he actually covered his name badge and said, "Don't worry about it. I'm just here to help you." Mm-hmm. Fast forward, 2 years or so, that same lady is now working at the home office, because when it was time for her to go back to work, that just stuck out with her. So she works at Cooks now. So they actually reunited.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not that long ago. There was actually a video we put out about that. Online. A pretty cool story.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Of course, Mr. Cook always said too, he said, for all the free service you do, he said, it'll come back to you tenfold. So, we do, like any company, you give back to the community as much as you possibly can, because, bed bugs, we've had many stories about bed bugs of just doing free service, just breaks your heart to see it, or roach control. We work with human services a lot, and, that we'll get those calls, and it pulls on you pretty hard. So, you know what you're doing. Go take care of it. So.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for coming on Nisus Nation. It was great to talk to you, Harry. I'm glad you're with me again, because it's been a few episodes since you've been on here. But is there anything you want to add?
No, I'll tell you what. It has been a few episodes since I've joined you on the podcast, but this is one that I wanted to be a part of, having Andrew and Stephen on today. It's absolutely been a pleasure to have him here, and we're just blessed to have him inside our building today.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah.
We're excited to be here.
Yeah, get to see behind the scenes and see how it's made and
That's right.
see how it's done. So
Awesome. Well, thank you guys a lot. And once again, thanks for joining us on Nisus Nation. And we'll see you next time.